very much. Well, good morning, everyone. Mayor Foster, you'll be happy to know the population of Clarington is going to go up by 2 in a couple of months' time. My wife and I are relocating out to Clarington so I can spend more time here. I'm honored to be participating, as Sheila said, in my 3rd Clarington Energy Summit, and it's a very exciting time to see the interest and support of this event growing each year. I congratulate the Clarington Board of Trade for their hard work in delivering this worthwhile program and for being the catalyst that brings together our influential community and business leaders. On behalf of OPG, I also want to welcome you to the Darlington Energy Complex. For many of you, this is probably the first time you've been here. I'll spend a little time later on in my speech talking about this facility. Today I'll share with you our progress on the refurbishment of the Darlington Nuclear Generating Station and describe what we're doing to ensure that we deliver this project safely, on time, on budget, and to the required quality. We understand there are risks in executing projects of this scale and complexity. If the project has not been well managed, and if the risks have not been managed, and ultimately the ratepayer foots the bill. Our job is to ensure that that does not happen. That is what I'll be talking about today, what OPG is doing to assure the success of Darlington's refurbishment. We're building confidence through every step and every review of the project. With our extensive large project management experience, we can manage the work that's going to be done on this project. This confidence and experience demonstrates to our shareholder and stakeholders that we know what we're doing during the preparation phase and when we begin execution of this project in 2016. The Darlington Nuclear Generating Station has been providing safe, clean, and reliable baseload electricity for the people of Ontario for more than 20 years. It produces over 3,500 megawatts of power, enough to power 2 million homes, and typically supplies about 20% of Ontario's electricity needs. Darlington came online in the early 1990s, and it's due for mid-life refurbishment characteristic of a can-do design. Darlington is a very well-maintained facility. It has a committed and highly trained workforce, produces minimal greenhouse gas emissions, and equally important, has an informed and supportive host community. Darlington is one of the top performing can-do stations in the world and recently received its best ever rating during an industry peer evaluation, and in fact it's the best rating that the peer evaluation provides to a nuclear facility. Darlington is the latest generation can-do plant, the result of the evolution of design and lessons learned from Pickering and the Bruce stations. Therefore, we're starting from a different place of other refurbishment projects, with the most recent design and with a very well-maintained station. We're beginning with a solid foundation. Darlington is an excellent candidate for refurbishment. Once completed, the refurbishment project will allow Darlington to continue safe and reliable operation for an additional 30 years. Midlife refurbishment is a significant undertaking, which includes the replacement of major reactor components such as pressure tubes, calandria tubes, and feeder pipes. It also involves a tremendous amount of work to maintain, upgrade, and refurbish other important plant systems, such as turbine and generator sets, fuel handling systems and equipment, and other nuclear and conventional and safety systems. It's an extensive and complex project spanning about 15 years. We're managing the Darlington refurbishment as a program with 3 distinct phases. First was the initiation phase, which led to the decision to proceed to the definition phase. We're now in the definition phase, in which we're preparing for execution and focusing, among other things, on establishing the facilities and infrastructure to support execution, completing inspections and assessing the condition of components, obtaining regulatory approvals, negotiating and awarding major contracts, finalizing project scope and completing engineering work, procuring long lead materials, and developing a release quality cost estimate and full schedule. Execution begins in 2016, and it will take about a decade to refurbish all 4 units. At key decision points, a detailed review ensures the completion of all work before we progress to the next phase. Funding is only released to the project at these points. This is an objective method to challenge decisions and demonstrate readiness before proceeding to the next stages of the project. It also helps reduce uncertainty and contributes to an ever-increasing level of confidence in the project scope, schedule, and cost estimate. OPG has a solid record of successful project management. By building on lessons learned from our own experiences and from projects across the industry and around the world, we're continually improving our performance. We have created a separate refurbishment organization that includes staff with extensive station and refurbishment experience to effectively manage priorities and to maintain the interface with station operations. We will be working from a single integrated schedule for the project. It enables us to track overall progress, understand where there are interdependencies between work activities and contractors, and allow contractors to plan their work at a very detailed level. The schedule is structured so entire evolutions of work will be completed on one unit before starting the same work on the next, allowing us to apply lessons learned in real time. We're proactively identifying and managing risks and putting mitigating actions in place to manage these. While OPG maintains exclusive oversight for all project work, an independent oversight advisor will monitor the project and provide regular updates directly to the Ministry of Energy. Progress will be assessed against various targets, including cost, adherence to project schedule, risk identification, and contingency planning. We also have independent external oversight in place to help OPG identify gaps and to provide advice and full transparency to the Nuclear Oversight Committee of OPG's Board of Directors. Thorough, detailed front-end planning well ahead of execution will provide us with a full understanding of project scope. We're planning with the end in mind. Before we begin execution, we will know exactly how each system for the refurbished unit will be returned to service. In-depth plant condition assessments and inspections are helping us confirm the work scope and will avoid costly and time-consuming surprises during execution. Time and money are wasted when modifications or new components do not work with existing systems. Our project engineering is well underway, and detailed engineering will be complete well ahead of execution. As a familiar saying goes, and that brings us to where we are today. An incredible amount of work by many dedicated people and companies has been done so far. Let me highlight some of the areas of work underway in support of the refurbishment project. The regulatory approvals process is well defined, and we're doing the work needed to obtain the required approvals and establish the resulting scope of work. We have submitted an environmental assessment, an integrated safety review to the Canadian Nuclear Safety Commission, and will submit a global assessment report and an integrated implementation plan to the Canadian Nuclear Safety Commission by end of this year. These document and identify the work required to mitigate environmental effects or to improve safety systems relative to modern codes and standards. Earlier this year, Canadian Nuclear Safety Commission released their decision that the refurbishment and continued operation of Darlington will not result in any significant adverse environmental effects given the proposed mitigations. In 2014, the Commission will hold hearings where OPG will request approval to extend the Darlington operating license and execute the Darlington refurbishment. Construction is currently underway on several infrastructure improvements and new or upgraded facilities that we need to have in place before the first outage, or that we committed to in the recently completed environmental assessment. Installation of municipal water and sewer connections is nearly complete, including new main lines for domestic and fire water, as well as sanitary pumping stations to link the new municipal water treatment plant to the station. Additional storage and processing areas must be provided to support refurbishment activities, including heavy water storage and material processing for components removed from the reactors. A separate facility with security access, lunchroom, change rooms is being constructed on the west side of the site to minimize the impact on station operations of workers coming on site in support of refurbishment. A new maintenance building has just been commissioned and will support current and future maintenance activities on site. We're installing additional power and electrical services to accommodate the new facilities. Delayed material delivery and poor staging can have a significant impact on scheduled work. We have already constructed a 70,000 square foot warehouse for the storage of parts, components, and other equipment and materials to ensure they are on site, staged, and ready when needed. In fact, it's connected to this building, and you can see it on this slide, the bottom picture on this slide. We're also enhancing our emergency preparedness. We have 4 main safety improvement projects underway. A new containment filtered venting system is being installed to provide controlled emergency venting through a filtered path in the unlikely event of a multi-unit severe accident. The reliability of the powerhouse steam venting system is being improved, and this will help us reduce vulnerability in the event of a main steam line failure. A third emergency power generator is being installed, which will improve availability and operational flexibility of the emergency power system. Finally, we're installing diesel fire water pumps. These pumps provide emergency cooling water and can provide additional fuel cooling through multiple paths. These projects reflect the serious commitment by OPG to strengthen the already robust safety systems at our nuclear plants. We are implementing a multi-prime contracting strategy. Under this multi-prime approach, OPG, as the owner, has a separate contract with each prime contractor. OPG retains overall project management responsibility and design authority for engineering changes. Our contracting strategy ensures the risk for each aspect of the work resides with the organization best able to manage it, and that we all work to common goals. We have previously announced some of our contracting partners. The retube and feeder replacement contract was awarded to a joint venture of SNC-Lavalin Nuclear and Aecon Industrial. An engineering services and equipment supply contract for the turbine generator work was awarded to Alstom Power and Transport Canada. GE Hitachi Nuclear Energy Canada was awarded the contract to support the defueling of the reactors at Darlington. Owner support services and master service agreement contracts are in place to provide additional external technical and project management expertise. Our plan is to have all remaining contracts awarded by end of 2014. We're undertaking detailed, intensive efforts to ensure we have the right scope of work for Darlington's refurbishment. We determined the scope of work to be done by looking at engineering standards, component condition assessments and inspections, and regulatory commitments made to the Nuclear Safety Commission. As part of the refurbishment preparation, each component, from piping to cables and valves to pumps, is being analyzed to see whether or not it needs to be replaced or refurbished. That may sound arduous, even tedious, but it's only a fraction of the work we have been doing for the past few years. Each area of work is contained in a scope document and is reviewed, challenged, and questioned before it's accepted as a requirement for Darlington's refurbishment. This past summer, we also had a team of senior station and refurbishment staff undertake a detailed review of all scope identified to date. Some work was confirmed, some was reduced, some was removed, and some identified as work that could be done during a regular station maintenance outage. OPG is committed to ensuring that this relentless scrutiny will continue. We will do it again before we issue our final release quality estimate in 2015. It's the release quality estimate by which we will be measured. It will be your tool to judge our ability to manage this massive project. I'd now like to take a few moments to talk about this facility. The Darlington Energy Complex, affectionately called the DEC, was completed 1 month ahead of schedule on June 1st. And by July 1st, our project staff had relocated to the site. We currently have about 450 people working here. The Darlington Nuclear Information Center is in the process of being moved here, and it will attract nuclear business and industry guests, public visitors, teachers and students, as well as community groups and organizations. But it's much more than that. The DEC will also be a technologically advanced place in which to train. The challenge for workers on the refurbishment project will be to execute intricate maneuvers using unique and specialized tools in a nuclear environment. The new state-of-the-art training facility inside the Darlington Energy Complex is currently under construction. And it will have a full-scale, non-functioning mock-up of a Darlington reactor. Good planning gives great results. The reactor mock-up at the DEC is a prime example. Workers will be trained and tested on the challenges, constraints, and potential hazards they may face before executing work at the face of the reactor. The structural framework has taken shape, and we've got a short video that will show that. The reactor mock-up was designed and is being built to accurately represent the size and space within the real reactor vaults and simulate all interferences that will be encountered during the actual retube and feeder replacement work. Specialized tooling is being designed and built to support the refurbishment work. During the tool design phase, strong integration among OPG and our contractors allows for issues to be identified early, which will minimize surprises moving forward. New tools will be tested and work practiced to determine the correct time and precise sequence needed to execute each activity. This will prove the tools work reliably do what they're supposed to do, and will help to establish the detailed schedule for the project and reduce uncertainty. Even during execution, crews will have access to the mock-up for additional tests or rehearsals that they may require. We have a lot of work to complete and approvals to secure. In the meantime, our every action will continue to be scrutinized in a very public manner. In addition to the upfront planning and preparation work and third-party oversight, there is additional protection for Ontario's ratepayers. First, the need for Darlington's electricity is identified by the Ontario Power Authority, not OPG. OPG's refurbishment business case needs to pass the value test within the Ontario Power Authority planning process. It has to make sense as part of the overall electricity system plan. Second, OPG must defend the project's costs and value to ratepayers in front of the economic regulator, the Ontario Energy Board. It's a vigorously transparent and public process where all costs are scrutinized by the third-party commission. Only those deemed justifiable are passed on to ratepayers. The Ontario Energy Board's process creates a strong incentive for OPG to ensure cost controls are in place. Evidence of this can be seen in our operations, where cost performance has steadily improved over the past several years. We're a cost-effective and fiscally responsible business. We're a public company, and we do what's in the best interest of the ratepayers. That's why we're committed to being Ontario's low-cost generator. In 2010, OPG initiated a business transformation to address cultural and process changes aimed at making sure we meet the expectations of ratepayers by being an efficient, low-cost generator. We're continuing that transformation, which to date has resulted in a headcount reduction of 13%, or about 1,500 people. The current estimated cost savings from this reduction are about $275 million per year. OPG continues to moderate the price of electricity. The price we receive is significantly lower than the average for all generators. Darlington operates 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, providing Ontario with reliable electricity. It is there when you need it. We believe that Darlington refurbishment is a smart investment. The electricity produced at Darlington is environmentally clean. Consider that 99.99% of the power produced here is free from greenhouse gas emissions, and that operating the 4 units at Darlington displaces about 11 million metric tons of carbon dioxide emissions every year. And the economic impact of this project is huge. 100,000 person years of employment, 5,700 resident jobs in Durham region, 300 million hours of field work, and about $20 billion in gross domestic product. Continued Darlington plant operations will provide a new generation of employment in Durham region, new and continued business spin-off activity, as well as local economic development and household spending. Finally, OPG electricity generation also moderates the price Ontarians pay for their electricity. Consumers benefit from the impact our lower rates have on moderating electricity rates of all generators in Ontario. OPG's rates are about 45% less than rates received by private generators. There are huge benefits to Ontario with the refurbishment of Darlington, but it is not at any cost. It's our job to demonstrate that we have the skills, the capabilities, and expertise to manage this project so that we deliver value to the people of Ontario. Our goal is to deliver a successfully refurbished Darlington station safely, to the quality that's required in the nuclear environment, on time, and on a fact-based budget, which is an important part of the future of electricity and nuclear generation in Ontario. Thank you very much.